Hi guys, what is my plan today? Well, simply to move on with our journal made purely from junk. I have all kinds of stuff all over my table because I did not plan ahead. I want you to know. I just decided, well, I walked away, we had company, we hung out, we had some fun 4th of July stuff, and everybody has left the building. Like, I'm home alone with the dogs. There won't be any screaming. I know for sure I'm home alone, at least for the next 20 minutes. So I thought, oh, what do you mean you don't understand screaming, Dawn? Oh, if you haven't seen it, there's a video like a month ago where I thought I was home alone, and I kind of started with, yay, I'm home alone. I can say and do whatever I want, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden I scream because my son was home. I didn't know. Anyway, it was a whole scary thing, and I posted the video anyway. Well, this time, I'm for sure home alone. Yay! So we've got our cover done. We've got our signature pages together. I added a book page. Let's see. I may have added another book page. Let me look. Yeah, I added 2 more book pages. So that's all I did to that. We are going to go ahead and set that aside. And then I took and I covered the inside with basically, right now, you see my table? There's nothing protecting it. Big mistake, Dawn. I might have to deal with that. But I took my old desk protector that had just randomness on it, and I ripped it up into pieces, and I glued it on the inside because it's all neutral colors. And I kind of thought, well, looks like we're going neutral. So that is what I did on the inside. It's junk. It was my desk protector. You could use book pages. You could use, Amazon packaging paper. You could use any paper you want. Say you've got, like me, a bin of scraps. I know these are some of these are big. I've got a big scrap bin, but some are little. You could do big and little. It doesn't matter. Whatever you have, just go ahead and use it. It's junk, stuff you would normally throw in the recycle bin. Now, I am noticing that some of this is lifting, and of course, why would I have any glue next to me? That would be too much prep work. So let's go ahead and grab a couple glues. I've got art glitter glue, Fabri-Tac, and I don't even know what this is. Gina K Designs Connect glue. I don't mean disrespect, but I wouldn't recommend this glue. It's not my favorite. I don't know. It just isn't my favorite. That's all I have to say. So I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and try this and go ahead and get this little piece glued down. And I did this part off camera just because I thought, well, you don't want to see me glue paper down. It would just be quicker. Oh, of course, I'm going to ooze some glue everywhere. That is quite all right. Not a big deal. Now, if you have a sewing machine, you could, at this point, come to this side here, and you could sew around all the edges. I'm not going to do that because not all of us have a sewing machine. Some of us have one, and guess what? We fight with it. We don't want to deal with it. I'm going to get a paper towel just for extra glue mess. And I don't really even have room to put anything down here to protect my desk. What do you guys use as a desk protector? I'm just curious. Let's just grab this. I've got a friend here on YouTube. Her name is Blaster Works, and her name's Brenda. She made this really cool master board. She just glued down a ton of scraps onto some paper bag, and I use it as a desk protector because it's just adding some fabulous color and texture to her already beautiful artwork. So I think we could lay that down. That'll work. It's really busy, and I'm sorry about that. I have had people say, Dawn, if you could use a desk protector that is like white or something, it'd be easier on our eyes. Well, I do have some white paper on a roll, and I don't know where it went. Anyway, yeah, don't know where it went. So we've got this. Now, most of the time, I would then take my pages and I would sew them into the signature, but I don't want to do that yet because I wanted to play around with some of the pages first. And for instance, okay, remember we added that folded up, was it paper bag, I think, or Amazon packaging? Anyway, it was glued paper. Let me zoom in just a little. We made a ruffle, a fabric ruffle out of paper we would throw in the bin. I went ahead and made more to use in this journal. I did sew this one. And then I took some more of that backdrop paper, the messiness, and I just ruffled it and glued that, a long piece. And I found this, I don't know if it's tissue paper or if it is like maybe a sewing, I don't know, like this, a pattern. I don't know what this is. It was in my scrap bin, honestly. So I just took some and made a little sewed ruffle. And then I thought, well, let's try it with some book page edging. Now, my problem was that I was having a fight with my sewing machine. Can you see that? Yeah. So, no. But we'll go ahead and keep this mess because you never know. We may need it for collaging. Who knows? But this here, I made a little bit extra. Let me show you. I have what we'll call my pile over here. And then this is another pile. I've got 1, 2 out of that tissue paper or whatever it is. And then I've got this kind of longer piece of packing paper. And this one actually worked. It's book page. And then another really long one of my drop cloth or whatever you want to call it paper. Okay, what I thought was I'm going to actually take this little bundle in case you guys don't have a sewing machine. And I'm going to put it on my Ko-fi site. That way, and I know there's only one. I probably could make more, but for now there's just one. That way, if one of you needs some of this, I'll put my Ko-fi link down in the description box below, and you can just snag it, and I'll mail it to you. All right, so we set that aside. Now, what I thought I would do with this, so this, I want contrasting colors. So maybe, for instance, we could glue this to the edge of this book page. But something I wanted to show you first, okay? I tried this before. This book page, you might be thinking, Dawn, if this is going to be a writing journal, how are we supposed to write on this? That is where you get your paintbrush and your gesso and paint it. Or you leave it and this is a page to decorate. It is not a page for writing on. Do you see what I mean? Because we need a little bit of interest in our journal. So my thought was putting this right here. So here's how I'm going to do that. Where's my aha? Because it's the video and I want things to dry fast, we're going to use Art Glitter Glue. It does come on Amazon. It does, dry fast. That is why I like to use it when making a video for you guys. So none of us are waiting on glue to dry. And the thing is, if you're new and you buy this glue, you do need to keep your pin in it at all times or it will dry up fast. And then I'm just gonna set this here on the edge, and it's not quite long enough. I've got some glue there, but that's where that paper towel comes in handy. And we'll just press it down. And this glue, it only takes a second for it to attach. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And now we have ruffle on the edge that almost acts like a page tab. And my brain, I wanted to add buttons. There's something for me about buttons in a journal, but the only way to consider buttons junk would be if they came off, say, a shirt that shrunk, or maybe you gained a little weight and so the shirt doesn't fit. You could take the buttons off it. But as of right this second on my desk, I do not have any. So we're going to say that this page right here is done. And we're going to flip it open. That page hides behind it, so I'm not going to do anything to that right now. We could put this one here. Let's see if we closed it. Because, see, I'm looking for kind of the textured look. And I think maybe if we put it right there, those three next to each other, I think that looks kind of cool. So let's do that. We're going to grab our glue again. And let's see. I'm going to set this here just so I kind of have an idea of where to put my glue. And then just set that on there and press. Okay, what does that look like? I like it. Okay, and then we have this long one that we can use for more than one piece. But do you see this page sticking out here? I actually think. Oh, it's stuck to that. No, okay. What about this one? What would it look like if we put it right there? We could let it hang off a little bit, some up here and some down here, and that will work. So then what I want to do is come here and cut it. And we still have a little piece left. So then open it up, and I'm just going to come and squash some glue. Put my pen in the glue. Uh-oh. Now, I will tell you the reason that I have these hanging things on my glue bottle is so that I don't lose that pen when I take it out. So I'm just going to, since it fell off, I'm going to attempt to just really quick do like that. Okay. And then get this back here and press it down. You can always come back and add a little more glue just to ensure that this is going to stay. Now, I do have some stamped images that basically I took a stamp, I took some of my scrap paper out of my bin over here, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, let's just set this aside real quick. I need to get that out of the way. All right. You come in here, open up the scrap bin. You know what? Let's take this. Let's grab. Okay, so I have. Oh, here we go. I have this flower stamp. It came from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do is just grab some ink. And I'm going to stamp the image on here, and then, and that's just permanent black ink. Really, I got it at a garage sale, and so really, it doesn't matter what brand when you're going permanent and black, just whatever you can do. We all have different budgets, you know? No need to have the identical things. Gives it more character that way. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this all the way down. Instead of fussy cutting, I think somebody called it fussy ripping. Have you ever heard that? And I'm just getting those straight edges off. And so then we have this. And then I've got, I know we were going to go, I was going to go with all neutrals, but I have this. What is it? It's a dry baby wipe that I was wiping up my glass mat when I was playing with dyeing lace. Here's what I was thinking we could do with it. Just snip and rip. And then maybe we should snip and rip the other side as well. Okay. And then what we could do, I think this needs the edges inked. I'm going to use Gathered Twigs. There's a point in what I'm showing you. Really, there is. This is how to use your junk, scraps, or whatever you've got to dress up a page. So if we come over here, and let's go to this. If we glued that down, you know what? I don't like the straight edges, so let's just tear some off. If we glued that down here, and then this here, we would have a cute little embellishment for the side. Should we add something to it? We could go book page. Let me look in my... Oh, I've got music sheet. But that's too close to this color and that color. I don't know. What about this? We could put that on there. Let's see. You know what? I'm not liking that there. Scratch that, set it aside. What if we looked through our scrapbook pages and see if we have a different image? I don't. So, what was, you're like, Dawn, what were you going to do? Okay, here's what I was going to do. I've got this. I stamped it on some scrap paper, and my original thought was just glue that down. Now, we do have little pieces of this now, so I could just glue like that. Maybe take a little more, like this, and maybe do like that. So let's do that. I'm going to grab this glue. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of squish it all over. Press that down. Glue all over here. I think I want you... Come on, I want you to move on down. There we go. There we go. And now, this Fabri-Tac... It does give you time to lift things and move things. So you want to make sure, if it's in the right spot, that you hold it and give it time to really grab a hold. But I actually really like that page. I think it's so cute. So let's set this aside again. I'm running out of space at my desk. Now, remember I had this card? I didn't really know what to do with it. Okay, my thought is we cut it up. Just hear me out. We're going to kind of fussy cut this. Not to perfection, just kind of. When I am gonna really actually take the time to fussy cut something so that it, it's really looks nice, I will actually take things and I'll join my husband in the living room in the evening when he wants to watch something on TV, and I will sit and fussy cut while I'm hanging out with him. He then thinks that I'm, watching TV with him. When really all it is I want to spend time with him, but I don't want to watch what he's watching. So I will just keep my hands busy, and obviously my eyeballs too, because you got to look down to do this. But I'm still hanging out with him, and it just makes it so I can get a few things done, but I'm also getting to hang out with my honey bunny. Okay, now, I have an idea. Let's take this, and let's let's just do it. I'm not going to think about this too much. What if I just get some glue on here? Whoa. Dawn, don't be so messy and quick. Okay. Let's scrunch this up. And this is just some old, what do you call that? You know, it's a pattern paper for sewing. And I am going to admit, I was going to make my granddaughter and I matching aprons. So I bought a pattern for like, I think it was like $1. It was on clearance. And I never made it. And she is too big for the pattern I got. And where do I put this? Just over here. And so I need to wait till she's a little bit bigger. I could now make us matching ones with the one pattern that was for me. But the one I originally got for her, she has just grown like a weed. So it won't fit. So that's where this pattern paper has come from, and a couple other things. Oh, shucks. Don't forget your pen. There we go. Okay, so we've got a little pattern paper. And then what about maybe some book page? And I'm thinking maybe we just fold the book page in half. We're gonna make a pocket real quick. So I think what I'll do, I've got my handy dandy ruler. I'm just gonna tear a straight line at the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this side here and the bottom there. Okay, and then I think we could just glue that to the top, but I do want to take a little more off. What about like that? Yep. So then I'm just going to come in with my glue, attempt to get enough glue that it's going to stay. And then glue that kind of down sideways. And I do need my pen and my glue. All right. Now, I do want to also come in and go ahead and ink. Now, why did I fold the book page over? I will show you why in just a second. I just folded that page in half. I'm sure you remember me just doing it. Now I am noticing there are some spots not wanting to stay down. I'm going to grab this glue just to reinforce. Yuck, I got it all over my finger. I don't know about you guys, but I am the biggest mess maker when it comes to glue. I know I need to reinforce right there. There we go. We'll put our lid on that glue. And what do we have? We have a pocket in here, okay? But then when we glue it down, we have a pocket here. Let's grab our pages real quick and see if this is even gonna fit. It should on at least one of the pages. What about this one? Yay, it will. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to glue 3 sides down. I'm gonna grab the top because I don't want glue there. And with my hand there, it will remind my brain, don't you do it. So we'll glue the other 3 sides. And there we go. And just give that a good press to make sure it all glues down well. Okay, and then, of course, I have to put the pin in my glue. Oh my goodness. There we go. And then what I thought we could do is we could come here and maybe just rip that there and see, is that gonna fit? A little too wide. So I'm not worried about the words. That was something that, you know, I didn't want anyway. So let's just trim it off right about the edge of the butterfly. There we go. And then, nothing on the back that I want to keep. I'm going to go ahead and cut that corner off. Turn it. And cut, oh, come on out, that corner off. And we have the shape of a tag, but look at the back. So as cute as those little butterflies are, I have to decide, okay, which is the front and which is the back now. If I use that, we could have a little writing space here. But I have an idea. Why don't we, because we're making a tag to go in this pocket here. Why don't we grab maybe, oh boy. I'm looking through my scrap paper of just random scraps. And here we go. I've got one right here. Let's take this. It is very plain. And we could glue it over top of that. And so I think what I'll do is I will rip it there. And then, let's see, rip it right about there. We'll see. And we could glue that down, but to make it look more purposeful, we'll ink the edges. And then we'll come and ink the edges here. Oh, that's wonky. There we go. All right, and we can glue that down. So I'm gonna grab my glue book and my glue stick. Ooh. Get some glue all over this. And then put that down right there. And if you're like, Dawn, that looks dumb. Okay, so what if we took another piece and we'll make it a different size. And we'll just kind of rip there. And then, let's see. Maybe we'll rip it right about there. And then I'm going to cut just a tad bit off the top. Come over here and get it glued up. And we'll put it right about there. See, so now it looks a little more purposeful, you know? But we covered up that writing that talked about so sorry, sympathy. Now on here, we could do something here as well. And you know what I'm thinking? Let's just grab, I'm going to put the lid on this glue. Let's go ahead and see what would that look like if we added that. Let's do that. So we'll get some glue on the back of here. and then some, whoa, on this. Can I just give a shout out to all of you who are new viewers and have been commenting and subscribing? I am so thankful that you found me and that you decided you wanted to stay. And then, you know, I really need to give a shout out to some people who have actually put in orders over this last weekend. YouTube name is Serenity Kelly, but that's Susie. She put in quite a large order. So I want to just say thank you for supporting me. It really does mean a lot to me. And then I've got a few others who have put in an order as well. And I don't know if you, I didn't write your names down. So I'll give you a shout out. Wait, hold on. Let me grab it. Okay, so I went and looked. So Pamela and Celeste, the two of you, have supported me by going to my Ko-fi site and ordering things. And again, a huge thank you for any of you that have put in orders. And I do always try and add a little bit of extra stuff as like Happy Mail. I just really appreciate the fact that you guys, number one, take your time to watch my channel and then to help support me by purchasing some of the things that are in my site. You will never know just how much that means to me. All right, so now we have a cute little tag. Well, do we want to have something hanging off of it? Sure, why not? So let's just go ahead and cut a little hole. I know it's cutting a hole in the butterfly. Now, do you have any pillowcases or bed sheets or anything that you are going to get rid of? Keep them. I'll tell you why. You can rip up strips and you can then, look at this. Dun, 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 dun. You can then use it on the top of your tags. You can use it. I'm just going to do a knot. You can use it in collaging. You can use it in all kinds of ways. So those shirts, jeans, anything that you know, pillowcases, bed sheets, anything clean that you're going to get rid of, rip it up. Yeah. Okay. See? Because now look at this. We now have a tag in there. Now, we could put a little word sentiment on this, but I'm not going to, because what I thought I'd do, I've got this says 2005 Stampin' Up. Again, it was at a garage sale, but my thought was, okay, there's some scrap. No, I don't want to use that one. Let's use this, and let's get, it just says wish. Let's stamp that there. And I'll go ahead and cut it. There we go. Should we also ink around the edges? Why not? Why not? I don't know about you, but I love inking things. Okay, and then we need a little glue, because I think I'm just going to put this little word sentiment on. Oh, not upside down, Dawn. Should we do it down here or up here? Oh, up here. There we go. So out of our card, we got to make a pocket and a tag. Now, remember, this has another spot for another tag. So what we could do, oh, well, I have a scrap piece of paper here. It's kind of flimsy, but you know what? They don't all have to be these sturdy, triple layered things. Oh, and you know what? I ripped it. Let's rip it some more, actually. Then we can see to get into that pocket. There we go. Let's just put this down in here. like that and just leave it. I mean, why not? It's just some fun stuff in there. Now, I am looking at this, and I think that I do want some sort of a page tab. So let's cut this again in half. And, all right, if we fold it, then we could put this on the edge. And do I have more scrap? Yep, that. Let's do this and this, like this. And then we could totally just staple it. Let me grab my stapler. And I think we'll staple it down here. No, middle, right there. We'll just grab this and go 1, 2. And this is not just any special, nothing special. It's not, I got it at some sort of a office supply store, and it takes regular staples. That's all that is. Nothing cool. All right, we've got those done. Get some of this mess out of the way. And should we sew this in now, or should we do it when we come back? Because what if we want to do some things to the pages that, like, for instance, maybe we want to go ahead and ink around the edges of this before we add it to the journal. Well, I'll tell you what, once you sew those signatures in, this, you can still do it, but this becomes a lot harder to do. So, find out if you look through your pages, see if you want to ink anything up. And if you do, go ahead and do it before sewing your pages in. Now, do you guys know how to do pamphlet stitches to sew your signatures in? I wanted to tell you one thing I've learned. You don't have to do just a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You can make a bunch of holes. But the key is this, and hear me loud and clear, okay? Odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, 9. You can do as many holes as you want, but it needs to be odd numbers. I wish that somebody had, told me that before I started working on a journal that was absolutely fabulous, because I just about ruined it. Not gonna lie, I really did a number on that journal because I didn't know. So we'll come back and we'll sew these in. That'll give us a chance to ink edges, that kind of a thing. Maybe you've got some edges that you want to take some sort of a pen, crayon, something like that, and you want to draw, just around some of the edges. Or maybe, I don't know, you're going to do something fun. This isn't really working very well because the white on there. Let's say you've got pages, you're like, okay, some of these pages are really boring and I don't know what to do with them. I'd like some fun background. Like, let's say this book page, all right? Well, really quick, something we could do is grab some paint, any brand, any kind, any color, squirt, oh, that is way too much, Dawn. Squirt some on there, and then we could come in with a paintbrush. I need some clean water. Come in with a paintbrush and do some fun market making. Now, I have way too much paint, so I'm going to have to get a second page and get some paint on there. And just think, you can't write with a pen, you can't journal on these pages that have ink, or not ink, I'm sorry, acrylic paint. But what you can do is think about it this way. It's a page to put your oh, gosh, your fun interactive things on. You know, your fabric flips or your whatever we're going to do next. It's just a little something in the background for that. You can write on gesso, but you can't write on acrylic paint. What acrylic paints do I have? I've got some from the Dollar Tree. I've got some from the Walmart. I've got some from Dollar General. I have some from Amazon. I have some really good expensive ones, not very many, but I have some expensive ones that I got that, you know, they're for working on the gel plate sometimes. I'm not really that good on the gel plate yet. So it really doesn't matter. This brown stuff, I'm not going to even show you the bottle because I got it at a garage sale. I'm big on getting things that someone else would normally throw away or cheap, because sometimes we can get into a financial bind by spending too much money on crafting supplies. Let's be real. So let's let these dry. We'll go ahead and we'll either fold them back up and put them in our journal when they're dry, or you could do something like this real quick. I'll show you. I'm going to get this paintbrush. It honestly came in a cheapo kids set of paintbrushes. I've got some yucky water that I'm just going to stick that down in there. And then do I have... Yeah, okay. I have this stuff. I don't know what it is, but I'll tell you what. Do you have any whiteout? That's exactly what this reminds me of. Grab some whiteout or white acrylic paint, anything that you've got. Oh, that was drying. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, oh my, get some of that here. Right? And I'm going to just make some little flicks of white paint to give a little more interest on this page when it dries for us to put in our journal. And as a matter of fact, now that I'm looking at this, I'm going to set these aside for a second. Let's grab our journal front. I'm going to get the lid. I'm going to get this a little wet. Mush it around. Let's get some white splatters all over and add more interest to this journal cover. I mean, you don't have to, but I thought it might look kind of cool doing that. And I'm just going all over the place. Just understand when you flick and make little specks on everything, you are going to get it everywhere. Okay, I don't know if you see it, but it's on my arm. I felt it fling on my face and my phone. It is what it is. So we've got a few white. Now, I know I'm going to be done, but first, I'm going to grab some of this black here. And let me see, in my junk paper next to me, let's just grab this. And let's squirt a little bit on there. That's way more than a little bit, Dawn. Let's get our paintbrush in this. It's not quite wet enough, so we'll dip it in our water. Do this a little more. And I'm going to cover up that flower. Actually, I'm only going to cover up right there. Let's give it some black splatters as well. All over. Oh my, yep, I can feel it. It's flinging all over my desk. It's flinging everywhere. We'll take this off. Now we're going to let that dry as well. Yes, today was a paint flinging day. I'm going to bring these back over here. And maybe we'll just, since we have extra paint, let's just go around the edges of this, and it will kind of make it look almost like a bit of it photo framed on this one. Hey now. There we go. There we go. There we go. Put this in the water. Now for, I haven't forgotten, Strength for a Woman's Heart. Now, I did get this off Amazon. It's a tin, which you know I am going to use this tin later. Let's grab from the middle and see what we have. I really ought to proofread these. All right, this says, be ready to witness. 2 Timothy, verse 4, chapter 4, verse 2. 2 Timothy 4:2. Preach the word of God. Be prepared, whether the time is favorable or not. Patiently correct, rebuke, and encourage your people with good teaching. It isn't always easy to be a witness for the Lord. People can attack or reject us. And because we're so afraid of what others might think, we often choose to rather keep quiet. Not me. Timothy also felt unsure about telling others about God's word. But Paul encourages him to continue preaching the gospel message with great wisdom and patience. In this way, Paul reiterates what the Bible tells us, that no matter what we do, we should do it with an upright and loving heart. And we can only achieve this if we approach others and speak to them from a spirit-filled, kind, loving heart. And then it says, Heavenly Father, help me to be a witness of your love, even when I'm afraid. Amen. And we'll end today with that. And I will see you either tomorrow or the next day, guys. Bye. God bless.